Good evening and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to our second edition of BC Spark here on Wednesday, the 25th of September. Got a lot of juicy topics to talk about right now. The first one leading up is going to be by our mans Justin and Holden. It's our Squawk Talk where they're going to be discussing the KCC's best desserts.
Hello, everybody. I'm Holden Andrews, and
I'm Justin Rogers.
we're here with Squawk Talk, baby.
That's right. Two crazy and wacky dudes talking about crazy and wacky stuff. So today we're going to talk about something a little bit local. So last time we talked about cartoons. Today we're going to talk about our favorite desserts in the KCC. What do you think about that, Holden?
I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm ready. Oh, first, before that, though, I will say the desserts are one of the most consistent things the KCC has. And I think that's one of the many reasons why we're talking about desserts. Mm-hmm. So let's just start off with the obvious ones that are really good. Let's talk about the ice creams. Obviously, they do have some pretty good ice creams, even though they don't make it themselves. Yeah. What do you think? What are your favorites?
Ice cream, for me, anything with chocolate, I'm there. So my usual, if they've got just chocolate, I'll go to the little stand right there. I'll get some chocolate sprinkles, some chocolate chips, throw all that in there. Also the Moose Tracks.
Yeah.
Especially the ones with the little Reese cups in them too. That one's real good. Other than that, if I'm feeling a little colorful that day, I'll get Superman. But
okay.
Have you seen the Blue Moon?
I've seen it. I haven't tried it.
I haven't either, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream they have?
So my favorite is one they rarely have, but when they do, I'm super excited. Graham Central Station.
Yes.
That is just one I've never experienced before. The fact that it has actual graham crackers in it is amazing. Also, another reason why I like another flavor they just came out with this year. It's like oatmeal and caramel, like one of your two least favorite things.
Yeah,
But I love it. It was fantastic. The fact that it has actual oatmeal chunks and then caramel chunks in it too. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. And then if you got plain vanilla, I'm cool with that too. And the fact that they got all of the toppings you can put, white chocolate chips, I'll put white chocolate chips on anything. It just makes it taste so fantastic. So there's always something, I feel like, except that on a Saturday night or Sunday
weekend ice cream
is not good. I just want vanilla or chocolate even, and they just have all the flavors that I'm not really interested in for the weekend.
Yeah, I was actually on the phone with my sister last night. She'd just come from the K, and she got the oatmeal, caramel, cinnamon, whatever ice cream it is, and she was in love with it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody I've talked to about it is just head over heels, over the moon.
So good.
Yeah. All right, non-ice cream desserts. Give me your top two.
Top two. Okay, so this isn't KCC. I love oatmeal raisin cookies, and the ones they have in the KCC are pretty good. And this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of mad they took away Take 5. Those Take 5 oatmeal raisin cookies were the best. Oh my gosh. If I wasn't in the mood for one, I stocked up on them as much as possible. So when I was in the mood for it, I would enjoy it that much more. Love that. And then the brownies in the KCC. Oh. So good. Especially the ones where you can still bite into the chocolate chips. Those just satisfy my heart so much. They're just fantastic. What about you?
First off, I just got to say R.I.P. to the Take 5. We miss you. My top two favorite desserts. Number one, Sidney actually just told me what it was. It's called dirt cake. It's chocolate pudding, and then it's got Oreo crumbles on top. I don't know if you've ever had that, but it's one of my favorite desserts ever. Aside from my grandma's cinnamon bundt cake, dirt cake. Oh my god. I make sure the cereal bowls. I'll go and get a heaping spoonful, put it in there, eat it. It's so good. It's one of those where you look at it and you're like, what is this?
Right.
But then you go and try it and just world changing. My second favorite dessert, I gotta go with just the standard chocolate chip cookie, because the KCC, some of their cookies aren't great, but the chocolate chip cookies, amazing. Yeah. They're always soft and moist.
That's true.
And I don't know how they do it, but they do, and it's great.
And the thing with their chocolate chip cookies too is they come in various sizes. Like sometimes they'll get like the really smaller ones, and it has like that cakey kind of feel to it. But then you'll have like the bigger ones where it's like it doesn't have that feel, but you can dunk it in some milk and it'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They do cookies right though. I think that they do that. Snickerdoodles, they always do
Snickerdoodles are
right.
great.
Oh, they're fantastic. They came out with some new cookies like the caramel chip or whatever. Like I always expect butterscotch because that's what they used to have, and then I bite into it. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is one of the better cookies I've had in the KCC.
Yeah. All right. Picture this. It's a late night. You're in the K. They don't have any good dessert. What cereal are you getting?
Man, you're putting me on the spot.
I
if
am.
They have Captain Crunch, I'm going after it.
Captain Crunch.
Captain
okay.
Crunch, I'm going after it. It's funny that you say that. If they don't have any ice cream, like cereal is always that replacement for ice cream because it pretty much is.
Yeah.
Pretty much is. All right, what is the go-to cereal for you late night?
Hot take right here. Usually I'd say Fruit Loops, but if it's dessert, I want Cinnamon Toast Crunch with chocolate milk.
Okay. Here's the big debate. Me and one of my really good friends had this debate when she was a senior, I was a sophomore. We had this huge debate. Cinnamon Toast Crunch with milk or without milk, which is better?
Wow. See, if I'm eating cereal without milk, that's a snack. It's not cereal. So I gotta go with milk. With milk, has to be.
Yeah. My thing with milk is you get the satisfaction of drinking cinnamon milk, cinnamon sugar milk. You have that satisfaction with, like, it tastes good without the milk, but it's not my preference.
Yeah.
It's not what I want or desire. So.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit you with another question. Your favorite cookie's not there. Which one are you hoping for? Number 2. One we haven't talked about. So we've talked about chocolate chip. We've talked about Snickerdoodle. Your new caramel. What's your next cookie?
Is there another cookie?
They've got those mint ones. They've got the red, white, and blue.
I know what you're
They've
talking
got the white macadamia nut.
That's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Options.
What are the ones that they have? Those Oreo ones. Those are always fire.
Yeah.
Those are always pretty good. Those are always weird to me.
It's like a white batter, and then they put the Oreos in it.
And then they put the Oreos in it.
Yeah,
Those taste
are
actually pretty good, especially when they come out right, like hot. Oh my gosh, it's kind of like a s'more.
Ooh.
Is what I'm thinking. Oh man, if they made s'more cookies.
Oh, I'd
or
never
just
leave.
s'mores in general.
I'd never leave.
It's s'mores in general. Oh, that'd be fantastic. I will say though, like dessert wise, they did have churros the other day.
Yeah,
I will
they
say
did
that.
at dinner.
And
you're right.
they were not that bad. A little bit crunchy, but not bad.
Yeah. One thing I'm gonna move into KCC hacks now. I've got one. You can have chicken and waffles every single night if you wanted to, because they've got the waffle maker. They always have chicken tenders, and there's constantly syrup there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Let's see, what other KCC hacks have I learned over the years?
You can make your own milkshakes in the KCC.
You can make your own milkshakes?
Yes.
How?
So you get ice cream,
Uh-huh.
and then you literally just get ice cream and milk, put some chocolate syrup in it, and mix it up. Make your own milkshake pretty much.
Wow, I've never thought of that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the combinations you could do there.
Exactly. Like mint chip.
Wow.
See, y'all don't even have to go all the way to Cookout.
You don't even have to spend money.
Exactly. Well, technically you are. But...
Well, I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, like KCC hacks, you don't have to drive anywhere. That's gas money right there. That can go to something else.
But see, my thing is like I've been here for 3 years. This is my 4th year. You get tired of KCC food after a while. Even if you do find some new awesome KCC hacks, like it's good to like find something else. Yeah. Also, though, one of my favorite things to do is get some scrambled eggs. Even though scrambled eggs aren't the best, but get some scrambled eggs. When they do have bacon, get that bacon.
Ooh.
Pancakes, sandwich.
My mind has been blown.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
It's so good. It's so good.
I've never thought to do that in a million years. I'm gonna have to try that. You know what? If you're listening out there, you try it too. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Instagram. If you have KCC hacks of your own, I would love them. Justin would love them.
Yes, please.
We all would love them.
Also, if you want to comment on any of our top desserts and you want to like trash it and say that's not it and give us a recommendation, please give us a recommendation. We want to try all the desserts possible.
I'll eat dessert all day.
Exactly. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here on Squawk Talk. My name is Justin Rogers.
And I'm Holden Andrews.
And we will see you guys later.
That was a beautiful segment. Made me a little bit hungry just listening to it. And as the fall leaves are changing, we have Sidney and Shaina here to talk about why we love fall and fall activities. So hopefully you guys got your little pumpkin spice lattes and you ready to listen.
Hi everybody, it's Sidney and Shaina here, and we're going to tell you guys about some fall fever.
So personally, some reasons I love fall. First, there's pumpkin food.
Oh, I love pumpkins. They're like my soul vegetable.
Okay, what about pumpkin pie?
Oh,
I
best.
actually don't like pumpkin pie.
Oh my god.
I like pumpkin roll though.
Pumpkin roll. So one thing like weird that my mom does is like she bakes pumpkin pie, but like she doesn't like crust, so she'll just bake the filling. And like that's so weird to me. So like I really hate it when my mom makes pumpkin pie because I'm like, Mom, you just ruined it now.
How does that even work?
I don't know. She just like puts it all in the pan, like a glass pan, and she just bakes it. And then she's like, I just really don't like the crust, and so she just doesn't make the crust.
Interesting. So obviously pumpkin spice is hyped up. I actually don't really like pumpkin spice again.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how many pumpkin spice flavored things that we can make.
Yeah.
A drink that I do get excited for though, apple cider. I love apple cider.
Apple cider is so good. Do you like it hot or iced though? That's like the real question.
Okay, well, I don't know. Like I guess I like it both ways, but I think I definitely prefer it cold.
Yeah, me too. Because I just feel like drinking hot. It's like drinking hot apple juice, and it's just
it's
just not okay.
Yeah, it's also interesting because like apple juice and apple cider, like they're really similar. Like their processes are just slightly different, but they taste so different.
They really do.
Football season, neither of us actually are really into football, but if that's your thing, fall is your season.
Yeah. Wait, they do have, okay, actually, like, Little Debbie puts out, like, the football brownies.
Oh, yeah?
And those are, like, the best thing. I don't know why I just thought about that, but, like, those are so good. Like, I love those.
Okay, I got you. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, the holiday food. That is my holiday.
Yeah. I like Thanksgiving. It's definitely...
No. But my favorite holiday, of course, is Halloween.
Yes.
Because you get to dress up. And it's just a great time for everybody.
I love Halloween. Leaves changing is a big one for people.
Yeah. I like to just like walk through the leaves here at Bridgewater and just like hear them crunch under my feet. It's a great time.
Yeah, I like the Shaina National Park. I like to go up there. It helps if you have an annual pass. I like to buy one because if you go more than twice, it really pays for itself. And you're pretty close, so I mean... if you like outdoorsy things.
Yeah. Have to look into that. It's a great idea. So, like, what are some things that you could do, like, as a college student here on campus around in the area? Because I know, Shaina, you have some stuff, like pumpkin patches and corn mazes and fun things.
Yeah, so since we just talked about apple cider a minute ago, Showalter's Orchard is in Timberville. It's not too far. And every Saturday they have, like, a big thing where they have food trucks and different activities and stuff, and obviously they have like you can pick your own apples or they have already picked apples, and then they also have an annual apple harvest celebration every year, which is like kind of the same thing but it's bigger. They have music and everything. Pumpkin patches, obviously there's gonna be a lot that I don't know about. Like there's pumpkin patches everywhere. But two that I like typically hear about is, one is Myers Pumpkin Patch. It's in Penn Laird, so it's not that far. They have pumpkin patch, corn maze, other things. And then back home on the farm, and it's like right outside of Harrisonburg, and they're actually open like all year round. They do like a bunch of different things. They have like a pumpkin patch, corn maze, farm animals. They have a ton of activities listed. They also do this Saturday, they're having their first annual Virginia Pumpkin Festival.
A pumpkin festival?
Yes, you can decorate or pick pumpkins. There's going to be lots of pumpkin games like pumpkin bowling and pumpkin checkers.
I've never heard of pumpkin bowling, but that sounds like so much fun.
Okay, pumpkin checkers had me a little bit more like, what? Like,
okay, you gotta talk a little louder.
Many pumpkin foods. And they also said there was going to be a pumpkin hollow full of jack-o'-lanterns.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like such a fun time.
I agree. And then, continuing with the fall thing, there's lots of fall festivals around. One of the bigger ones is definitely Dayton Days, which is like not even 10 minutes down the road. It's right down 42. That's October 5th. They have lots of vendors, food, music. Another one is in Elkton. That's going to be a little bit more of a drive. That's like 30 minutes away. But that one's the 19th through the 20th. And again, they have like music, food, vendors. There's also one on Massanutten, but that one you have to pay to get into. So I don't really...
College budget.
I definitely agree. And then obviously, like, on campus, there's homecoming weekend. There's going to be, like, multiple events, like BC's Got Talent. There's the bonfire, which I love to go to. And then getting more towards, like, Halloween.
Oh, my favorite holiday.
3 of the, I feel like, more known, like, haunted houses / trails in the area. Fear Forest is right outside of Harrisonburg. They have 3 different attractions. They have the haunted trail, and then they also have a interactive haunted hay wagon ride where you go through and you, like, shoot zombies and such. And then the third thing is a fear factory where your worst fears are manufactured. I've done Fear Forest multiple times. I've never done the wagon ride or the fear factory.
I wonder how they do that, like the fear factory.
Yeah,
like, do you have to like tell them like your worst fear, like clowns, and like clowns are gonna like pop out at you? Because I just that could cause some anxiety. I just feel like.
Yeah, I definitely don't know. I'm pretty sure that's a new one. Like I think they introduced it a year or 2 ago. That one I don't really remember. The Haunted Trail, I definitely like it. If you've never been, it's definitely good to go to, but that one kind of stays the same every year, so I feel like if you've gone once, you've kind of seen it, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Madame Redrum's 9 Gates of Doom, I've never been to that one. It's in Waynesboro, however, I have a bunch of friends who have went. It's in an authentic 18th century mill, so it's 4 stories.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it definitely sounds like to me that's going to be a longer one. And I definitely heard that it's more intense, kind of more, like, gory. So I definitely don't think I would be interested in going to it.
Neither would I. I can't even watch scary movies.
Yeah. Darkwood Manor is my absolute favorite. It's in Luray, so that one's going to be a bit of a drive, but they change their theme every single year, so everything's completely different, and that's part of the reason I really love it. They have also a 3D mind maze and an escape room along with their haunted house, and theirs is completely indoors. They have one small outdoor section, but it's really not much. But that one I absolutely love, and then their theme this year is Kill Crop Outbreak, so it's about, like, a virus that's gotten out.
Wow. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of stuff to do around the area, and there's all kinds of stuff they can check out and everything. So, do we have any closing thoughts about fall?
Fall is definitely my favorite season. There's
Me too.
definitely a lot of stuff going on everywhere you look. I love the weather changing. I love the leaves changing. Thanksgiving, the breaks.
So many things coming up, and I hope that all these college students are going to enjoy themselves and their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. So that concludes Shaina and I's fall fever. But also, I just want to make a quick announcement to anybody who's listening. For Bridgewater College, there is a domestic violence march that Women at Work is holding on October 1st on a Tuesday. It starts at 5 o'clock in front of the steps of Blue Ridge, and we would love if you guys came out and participated. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for Sidney and Shaina for getting us in that fall festive spirit. As well, make sure to check out that domestic violence protest. And up next, we got Ian and Ayinde, who are about to go in and talk about the Emmys, the winners, the losers, as well as who they think should have won and who didn't even deserve to be at the 2019 Emmys.
What's going on, Bridgewater? My name is Ayinde.
And I'm Ian.
So, on Sunday, September 22nd, we had the 2019 Emmy Awards. This is the big television award ceremony. This is like on par with like the Oscars and the Grammys and all that.
Yeah, it's Oscars for television.
Yeah, and so this was a very controversial night for the
Very.
Emmys, and so we're getting into the big controversy. But let's just go over a couple of notable wins. I want to just address really quickly. Outstanding limited series, so a show isn't really going on for really long, or like a short movie. Chernobyl won.
Chernobyl, yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it. I was sort of pulling for When They See Us. It was like that show was moving. And I mean, but Chernobyl was still completely fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really breath of fresh air after the disastrous season 8 of Game of Thrones.
We'll
nice
talk
fresh,
about
fresh air after.
Yeah,
We
will talk about that. Outstanding comedy series is there's a British comedy called Fleabag that actually won 4 Emmys, unseating Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Veep, which was really interesting. I don't think anybody called that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other ones that I would like to bring to attention. Billy Porter. He is the first openly gay, openly homosexual male to win Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama. So, that's something that, you can take and say, oh yeah, that's really something good did come out of the Emmys. But then we get to what won Outstanding Drama Series. Well, I will read the nominees first. For the nominees, we have Better Call Saul, Bodyguard, Killing Eve, Ozark, Pose, Succession, This Is Us, and the winner, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones won.
And, yeah, talk about divisive.
It's not even divisive. Everyone hated the season. Everyone hated the season 8. If you thought
it was a bad season,
Last Jedi criticism was divisive, there was no divide. Everyone hated the last season.
Yeah, what I mean by divisive, I don't mean like the fact that everybody didn't like the show, because nobody liked that season. It's the fact that it won. People are saying like, oh, it's still a technical achievement. I'm like, I get it. I understand that. It's still like still technically Marvel. Like, it's still better technically than a lot of the other shows. But in terms of storytelling, like, you can't. There's more to a drama than just the tech. Like, there's more to drama than just the special effects. You gotta have a good story. You gotta have
one.
Yeah, there was nothing there. I know we both have very personal feelings about that last season, and seeing it win an Emmy, the last season winning the big award, and 3 of the episodes getting nominated for outstanding directing, and it missed the outstanding writing good on
because there was no writing in the last season.
Yeah, there wasn't. And I believe that one went to Better Call Saul, I think. But yeah, that's woo. Talk about some controversy. I think this is, and when you see the acceptance speeches and stuff like that, you can tell it was very reluctant because they know that season wasn't good.
The actors even knew it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
They even talked about it before the season 8 came out, saying it's not even that good.
And
based on interviews.
And that really tells you how bad that show was.
Yeah.
If you're
season 8 was so received negatively that the creators of the show didn't even show. They backed out of going to Comic-Con.
Yeah,
they backed out did. Last minute to not go to Comic-Con to answer questions at the panel.
Another notable win, Peter Dinklage winning Outstanding Supporting Actor.
Which I don't agree with it all because he just stood there the entire time.
Yeah, I mean,
He did nothing.
He's the best actor, but you can't really. That's not really saying much in that.
Tyrion hasn't done
scene.
anything since season 5.
Yeah.
No, season 4.
Alfie Allen, who plays Reek or Theon Greyjoy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was up as long as so is Nicholas Coster-Waldau, Jamie Lannister, which I'm not going to get into that because that actually makes me mad. 3 of the episodes that were up for Best Directing were The Last of the Starks, The Long Night, and The Iron Throne. So, like, the last one. So, episode 3 and then the last 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
Either way.
The Iron Throne getting it nominated for an Emmy blows my mind. That episode was terrible.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah,
atrocious.
And what's surprising is that for the Outstanding Supporting Actress category, 4 of the 6 nominees were from Game of Thrones. Cersei Lannister, Sir Brienne of Tarth, Sansa, and Arya Stark were all nominated. Taking the bias out of taking my personal bias out of it, I do think that out of all of them, none of them should have won, and I'm glad that Julia Garner won for Ozark. Because again, the writing left so much to be desired, not just for the show but for the actors. The actors could have done so much better.
Cersei just got Lena Headey, which is the actress that played Cersei Lannister, she just stood there, got paid millions of dollars to drink wine on screen.
I mean, hey, listen.
That's all she did that last season.
Right. Some other notable ones before we get back into ripping Game of Thrones. Outstanding Television Movie went to the Black Mirror Bandersnatch special, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, which was really cool. It's a choose your own adventure story.
It's very inventive, and it's nice to see Netflix actually getting some shine where it's not seeing any love in the Academy Awards. Outstanding Variety Sketch Series goes to Saturday Night Live. That show Saturday Night Live cracks me up all the time. I cannot understand how they come up with some of the skits that they do, but they're funny. They're really funny, and it's a lot of the most recent ones. I'm personally a big fan of the Black Jeopardy sketches. There's one with Chadwick Boseman where he plays T'Challa. It's hilarious.
So funny.
It was so funny. But other than that, yeah, that's the big talking point is Game of Thrones and whether or not that should have won.
It really shouldn't have. It really should not have won because, if you take just the technical achievement aside, it just doesn't really matter in the grand scheme. Because if you look at, the original, the prequels, that was a big technical achievement because it was all filmed on green screen, but the writing was atrocious.
Right.
And this season of Game of Thrones, the writing wasn't even presentable. The characters were making character decisions that destroyed their character's arc in a scene, and literally in one scene, it destroys character arcs for years and years. Jaime Lannister in particular, probably one of the greatest characters on TV of redemption wise, and have him just go 180 in literally one scene that just destroys his character completely. And in that season, getting nominated for best drama series blows my mind, and winning.
I mean, the only thing is the competition wasn't that fierce. I think the only ones that really had any chance was maybe Ozark or This Is Us, because This Is Us is actually really popular. So that's the only one that I could have think that could even had a chance to upseat Game of Thrones. But because it was so divisive, and there was so much vitriol surrounding that season, then that's what pushed it. I mean, the Emmys are a popularity contest, I guess now.
Yeah. If you have 4 out of 6 actresses getting nominated from Game of Thrones, when maybe 2 of them should have been.
Which 2 do you think should
have? Sophie Turner and
yeah, I think Sophie.
Gwendolyn Christie.
I think this was Sophie's best. This was her best, one of her best seasons. Even with the writing being as bad as it was, she still tried to make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very long conversation that needs to be had about how we hold up that show.
Yeah. And so that was that's our talk about the Emmys and how we thought about it, and how we thought about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is Ian Rhodes
and Ayinde,
and see you later, Bridgewater.
Thank you to Ian and Ayinde for breaking down what happened and what popped off at the Emmys. Up next, though, we got Jacob and Brandon here to keep us up to date and in check with all BC sports, going through looking at each team in season and analyzing the performances so far, as well as what's to come in their season. So with that, they'll go ahead and take it away.
Good afternoon, Bridgewater. My name is Brandon Wells, and joining me is
Jacob Haugh.
And today we're going to be telling you a little bit about BC Sports, the in-season teams, where they are and where they will end up. So we just want to start off talking with the men's and women's soccer team. So I just came back from actually commentating the men's soccer game against Eastern Mennonite, and they have had a tough start to the season, Jacob. They've started 2-7 this year after having their best season on record last year. Look another 2-7. They got off to a quick start against Eastern Mennonite scoring. They lost 2-1 in the end in the beginning of overtime. They look slow. They come out strong and then they just slow down. This is their third loss in a row, and then the two previous they were shut out. So the men's soccer team, I don't know. What do you think?
Couple thoughts here. Men and women's soccer are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. One's trying to fight for positioning, and one's got to figure it out. Like I said in our last broadcast, men's soccer has a lot to look out here when they were 1-4, and now you're 2-7. So 1-3 in your last four isn't really good. But when you look at the way their team plays, they've lost a lot of age. And when you lose age, you lose IQ. So they've lost their goalie. They've lost a bunch of different players at many different positions. That's put them in a spot where they have to play a lot of young talent. And this will be a classic rebuild year, it looks like, in Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm. Next week, men's soccer stays at home, and they play a tough Lynchburg team. Next up, we want to talk about women's soccer. Yesterday, they tied Bridgewater College in double overtime. It was a shocking 0-0 game. What a thriller. Women's soccer right now is 3-3-2 on the season. They're better than men's soccer, but they still have a long way to go.
Yes, I don't see them on either end of the spectrum right now. And their next game is the Bleed Crimson game against Randolph-Macon here, Saturday the 28th at 4 p.m. And I think that will be a huge momentum shifter.
That is their first ODAC game of the whole season.
First conference
coming up
game.
Next week.
And when you're at a stalemate point of the season, you're 3-3-2. So you have a lot to figure out here. You can either go on a high or just go straight downhill. And last year they went on a high and they made it very far. And I just want to see if they'll be able to do it again.
They did. Then it's team we want to talk about, kind of like men's soccer, not great. 1-7 field hockey. They're playing a game right now where they're about to get shut out by Christopher Newport. So, field hockey. What do you think about field hockey?
Well, they did get their first win under their belt, which is a huge victory in itself. Like I said, with this team, it looks abysmal this year. And it's a lot to battle through. But there's still games to be played. So there's still an up to look at. They're 1-7, and it's a rough season. Just got to see how these ladies react and get back to recruiting.
There's an update right now. They are currently playing against Christopher Newport. They're down 0-4 with 3 minutes left in the third period. They play their next game on the 28th against Sewanee. This isn't a postseason team. They're not, but they're just kind of playing for pride right now. They have a young roster, so get some of the younger people some experience and get them in some goals. Next up, the opposite. We talked about a couple struggling teams. Now we want to talk about a team that could possibly compete for a championship.
Yes.
And by possibly, I mean almost definitely. Volleyball. Volleyball is 14-1 on the season. They just dropped their first game on the year on the 21st against Maryville. They lost 3-0 that game. It was a very good team that they played. But then they bounced back later that same day. It was a doubleheader against Averett. And they are currently playing a game right now against Lynchburg. I do not have the updated score on that for you right now. That should be over by the end of this broadcast, so definitely go and check that out. But volleyball 14-1, that's a good record.
And if you look at all three of the sets versus Maryville, every single one of the sets, it's not a double-digit margin. They're always keeping them within that 9-1 range. So it's a team that knows how to battle. I'm happy they picked up this first loss now. And there's a reason for that, so you don't have to see it later in the season.
Yep.
And it's not a conference opponent, so it's not a big head scratcher for us, and it's a hard opponent, but they're going to move forward. And as you see, on the very same day, they won 3-1 versus Averett, and they're playing Lynchburg right now. And I think just looking forward, this team has everything to gain. They just have to keep moving forward, and I think that they could be battling very well for a national
6 of
championship.
volleyball's wins are shutouts, 3-0 shutouts.
Yes.
They have potential. I've done a couple of the volleyball games, and they're good. They have height up front. They have skill up back. They're a good competitive team, and they gameplay well, and their backups just as good as their starters.
Yeah.
After their game against Lynchburg today, they have a doubleheader on the 28th where they play here. They're against Washington and Lee, and then they play Ferrum, so 2 ODAC games in one day. Definitely a big day for them, so hopefully they can come out on top with 2-0 in those games as well.
Yes, sir.
Next sports we want to talk about, men's and women's golf. The men's golf is they have 1 win on the season. I think they won the Shenandoah Invitational.
Yes.
It was a pretty impressive one. And they have 2 second places on the year. They did struggle once in Harrisonburg at the Tom Kiner Memorial, where they got 8th. But then they came back the very next day and got 2nd. So they turned their stuff around.
Yeah.
And they've had a couple ODAC Player of the Year awards as well, I
Yeah.
believe. So they have some pretty good talent on that team. And then you have that first place at Shenandoah.
And they have their next tournament, I believe, Monday the 7th of October.
So 2 weeks from now, they are Oglethorpe Real Lakes Invitational, and they play the 7th and the 8th, just as they have their other 2 tournaments. Then we have women's golf, who they're looking good.
Yep,
their first
second, and
Invitational,
second.
they played SVU Knights, the Invitational. They got first out of 10.
Yep.
10 teams competing and got first place. That's pretty good. They scored 321 as a team. Then they did the Bridgewater Invitational. They had a doubleheader there. They got 2nd in both of those days. Up here at Bridgewater and Harrisonburg.
They're just playing solid.
They are.
That's straight consistency. right there.
Women's golf has always been pretty good. We always
Yeah.
put forward some good ODAT players. Swim, it's technically a fall sport, but we just want to touch on it a little bit. They haven't started seasons yet. Both men and women start the 12th against Washington and Lee down in Lexington. So be sure to keep up on swimming. That comes down. I'm sure we'll cover them later as the season goes on. But we need to finish up the podcast talking about probably the most present sport around the nation right now.
And one thing I want to say about this team is last year with Bridgewater, everyone expected them to fail. And I think we got a glimpse of who they were in that overtime game versus Randolph-Macon.
Yep.
And I believe coming up,
they're playing Southern Virginia.
Southern Virginia this weekend, but then they play Hampden, Sidney, Ferrum, Washington and Lee, Emory and Henry, and then they have Randolph-Macon at the end of the season.
We are talking about football, of course, by the way.
Yes. But one thing I want to state here is that Southern Virginia has a very solid team. I've talked to a couple players on the team, and they said you can't look at any opponent as an easy opponent. And that is the first year I've been at Bridgewater, or I've talked to a bunch of players, and every single one of them said you can't overlook any opponent. And that is the type of mentality that Clark has spread through this entire roster. And I think it's genius. You can't look over any team to the next. But if I had to look forward to one, Brandon, it would be November 9th. We play Randolph-Macon in Bridgewater.
You mean September 9th?
That's November.
Oh, you're right. I saw Saturday. I thought that. November 9th.
November 9th.
September 9th is already passed.
But no, play November 9th with Randolph-Macon here. I want to see Jay Scroggins have a scoring spree all over this defense.
Jay Scroggins has not thrown a single interception all season.
I mean, that's just perfection.
It is. It's perfect. Their defense is on fire. The defense is good. And then you have Jalopy running back. He looks, every time he gets the ball, it has potential to be a 60-yard play.
Yes.
That dude is killing it out there. And their last 8 games of the season on the schedule are ODAC conference games. Every game they have the rest of the season is an ODAC game, which means they're playing for everything. And Coach Clark has said that Southern Virginia is their biggest challenge yet. They've played so far, they beat Gettysburg 41-10 week 1, Stevenson 37-22 week 2, and then Shenandoah they just beat last week in 35-17.
Yeah, and with the guys on offense, we can't overlook the guys on defense.
Nope.
You got Rayshawn Davis, I believe, linebacker. Then you also have Rosenthal, and you have Deshman Denny. But I mean, all 3 of those guys have played key roles in a lot of these games. I mean, a cornerback getting a sack. If you go back and watch Denny in this last game, I mean, this team, every single cylinder of this team is working.
The cool thing about Bridgewater football right now is they haven't given up a single point in the first half all season. Bridgewater footballs are right now coming out hard, coming out strong, coming out early.
And I think they're trying some things out in the second half, and that's okay. And we're going
They've
to see
given
them
up a
get a
couple-
real test.
They've given up a couple points in the second half, but that's okay when you have a 4-touchdown lead. You can feel like you can kind of give that up.
Yeah.
We want to close out saying they play Southern Virginia this upcoming Saturday. Then they're on bye week, so you probably get to go into bye week 4-0 and healthy, and you look good.
Yep.
And
2
then after the
p.m.
bye week, you come out and you play at Hampton Sydney. It's an away game. That's going to be a big game as well. But Bridgewater right now, they're looking like this could be an undefeated team. So we'll see how the season goes.
Thank you.
So again, we're handing back over to Drake for the next segment. My name has been Brandon, and I've been joined by Jacob, and we will be back very shortly for the NFL.
Alrighty, thank you to Jacob and Brandon for breaking down all the sports teams going on right now and how they're doing. Make sure this weekend it is a home game for our Bridgewater football team. Come out and check it out. Up next, we have Dean and Mo doing our Politicast, where they're going to be talking about the Ukraine investigation, the calls for Trump's impeachment, as well as latest general election poll numbers.
Good evening and welcome to Bridgewater Politicast. My name is Dean Barker.
Hey, good evening, Bridgewater. We got Kamara here. I'm with my man Dean, and we will be discussing again the shocking details dropping around the U.S. tonight.
All right.
If you can give us some background on that.
Okay, so first we're going to start off with is the Ukraine investigation. So recently a phone call has been released talking about Donald Trump was talking to Ukrainian President Volodymyr. He was talking to Volodymyr Zelensky about the call was initially to congratulate him on winning the election. This was around July, and Zelensky said that he had learned from Trump. And further on in the conversation, he talked about a potential investigation of Hunter Biden, who's Joe Biden's son. Apparently, he stopped a prosecution, and he was bragging about it.
So,
it's some wild stuff.
Yeah, so the official transcripts, and so CNN reports that these are unclassified transcripts from the White House forum, and they're the conversation between the two presidents, and Trump and Zelensky are discussing first of all, the actual tone of it. Looking at the transcript, it's a very congratulatory looking conversation. It's a lot of interesting looking back and forth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pleasantries, but then it seems that Trump almost sets it up and then drives straight to the point when he it looks like he's urging the president to look into, as he words it, the businesses that Joe Biden and his
Hunter Biden
having Ukraine, yeah. So I was looking at different news forums, and I thought it was interesting how the different news forums where we have Washington Post wording it saying Trump's pushed Ukraine's leader for Biden inquiry. We have MSNBC, notably conservative news forum, even they're conceded to the point saying that majority of House members now back up some of the impeachment action against Trump. And so from a week ago, having it look like impeachment proceedings would be stalled, now we have this bombshell drop, and it's looking more like we have Pelosi speaker dropping that the impeachment will be sometime soon.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting talking about the whole Ukraine thing. It actually ended. It seemed to be ending in a familial tone. The Ukrainian president invited Trump to Ukraine, and because of this call, we've had talks about, Trump's been. They're trying to impeach Trump. As of now, we've got over 200. I think the last time I looked, it was 208 House Democrats.
Yep.
And they just need 10 more to proceed. This doesn't mean that he will get impeached if they get 218. But if they get to 218, then they can proceed with the inquiry.
Yeah. So, direct line from Trump. He says on page 3 of the report, "I would like you to do us a favor, though." Just that statement in general, it doesn't matter what context it's taken in. If I give some background, at the time of this conversation, the U.S. Trump, that's an executive power. He had stopped the aid transformation to
Ukraine.
To Ukraine, yeah. So at the time, it looks like he's Democrats called it a mob-like shakedown, according to the CNN, saying how he's pretty much holding them against him. If he wants the aid of the country, he wants them to help him out with this.
Yeah.
And he did say that his personal lawyer, former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, would be able to talk to him on the phone. He would set him up. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But coming from the Democratic camp and the Republican camps all around. It's pretty much news of shock.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the document. Mo's read the document.
Yep.
We're still trying to figure out what to think about it.
And all of this has happened today. Earlier I was watching his press conference, took some notes, and the president seemed to take a dejected tone. He seemed to try to swerve away from some reporters. He asked specifically for the last question of it to be on the economy. He wanted to speak on other topics, but the reporters seemed to bring him back.
Yeah,
and,
that's not how the press works.
That's not how the press works in America. So
I think the question I wanted to get into is we understand that this could be valid reason for impeachment. We don't know if that'll happen, but is it really worth it with the elections coming up with this in just like a little over a year? Mm-hmm. Because that could stall. We don't know what will happen if the potential presidential candidate is impeached. Would he just be able to go right back into candidacy, or would there be a criminal investigation?
So most likely, I'm looking now and seeing that it's not looking good. If we're really gonna, as an overall viewpoint, just from sitting back and looking, from Trump's perspective, it's not looking good based on his tone from today. He didn't seem as optimistic because the previous viewpoint was they thought by releasing the transcripts that Pelosi and other Democratic candidates pushing for the impeachment would take a step back.
That didn't happen.
Take a step back at him showing transparency, showing the transcripts, but the actual opposite happened with the transcripts showing more evidence, more groundbreaking evidence on the topic of that. Yeah. So and supposedly there's a first phone call. There's transcripts on talks with Vice President. So
yeah, we're gonna see this. This is not the first time. This isn't the first time anybody's asked for Trump to be impeached, but I don't think it's ever been this formal. Now, going into that, according to a recent poll by Quinnipiac University, the majority of voters, I think it was like 1,300 voters or something like that, said that they didn't. 57% of them said that they don't think Trump should be impeached. That does not mean that they think Trump's doing a good job. Although it is interesting to note that the majority of women and Indian people thought that Trump should not be impeached. So those are two minority groups that he's seemed to improve in.
Certain demographics, are likely to lean on one side. But I thought it was interesting how Trump called it a nothing call and called it just comment pleasantries between two officials. But when you look at the actual words, I mean, it's only it's not like the Mueller report. I heard a good analogy on CNN. I'm not going to steal it, but I'll bring it to y'all. They described the Mueller report as being more of a marathon. But the way today's breaking news is broken down, it's like a wildfire. Yeah. It just hit us, and people are taking the story and running with it. So we're looking over the next couple of days to see where it's going to go. We're paying attention. We're going to see who the whistleblower was. Right now it's a confidential person, but the whistleblower's report is still classified with the government, but the Intelligence Committee has looked it over. Yeah. And they'll be looking into the further details. Yeah. So we got an interesting week coming up.
Yeah. Last but not least, we want to get to the general election polls. As of now, despite the whole call controversy, Trump is beating Biden 47-43 in the head-to-head because Biden, as of now, is the highest. He's the
Democratic.
Yeah, he's got the Democrat vote as of now. Elizabeth Warren is winning 3 polls, but close polls, but Joe Biden is destroying her in 2 others. So that will be much closer.
That's going to be a very interesting perspective to look at on the upcoming weeks. So we'll be paying close attention to that.
Well, that'll wrap things up for us here tonight on Bridgewater BC Voice Politicast. My name's Dean Barker.
Mo Kamara. We'll see y'all in a week.
We'll see you next week.
And we'll see.
Shout out to Dean and Mo for keeping us up to date with what's going on in the political world. Up next, we have Lexi, who's a student here, interviewing a Eco Action Club, the president actually, Lauren, about the global climate strike held last week.
Good evening, BC Voice listeners. Hope everyone's having a good evening. I have a special guest with us today, Lauren, the president of the Eco Action Club. How are you doing tonight, Lauren?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, Lexi.
Of course. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. So, Lauren, I want to ask, what's your major?
I'm an environmental science major.
Environmental science major? And what year are you?
I'm a senior.
Senior? Okay, getting close. You excited?
Oh, yeah. Feeling it these days.
I
feeling
bet.
The pressure.
Anyways, so president of the Eco Action Club, I heard last week you guys put on a global climate strike.
We did.
And where was that at, for those who might not know?
It was, the strike itself was located at the corner of Dinkle and College View Drive over by the campus police station, right next to the pond there, yeah.
Okay, and how long did that last? How long was the strike?
It was for half an hour, from 10 to 10:30.
Okay. And was it just students who showed out?
No, we had students, but we also had a bunch of faculty come out and some members of our community, which was really cool. I thought it was a really unique way to bring us all together.
Okay. Yeah, I saw there was quite a few videos of some community members honking at some semi trucks that came by. It was really awesome.
Yeah, people were really getting into it, trying to get cars to honk and, people to get active as they were going by, I guess, yeah.
It was really cool. So, how long have you been a member of the Eco Action Club?
I've been a member for about 3 years now, and president for last semester, and then this semester and this year.
Okay, and can I ask what got you into the club?
Well, as an environmental science major, I was, originally drawn to it to do, some service in our community, and we do a lot of things like park cleanups and good things for our community environment, so that's why I joined.
Okay, definitely makes sense. Environmental science, global strike.
Yes,
definitely.
Climate change.
I definitely see there's like a balance here. Definitely makes sense. It'd be weird if you didn't, show up. So with this climate strike, this wasn't just a Bridgewater campus thing. This is a global thing happening around the world, right?
Right. We chose to do the strike here on campus so that we could participate in the global climate strike happening that day. So, climate change is a big hot topic right now in the news and everything. We have some new young activists coming forward and speaking up. And so by doing this on our campus, we were able to participate.
That's really awesome. How was the turnout?
It was great. We had a lot of people come out, more than I think we were expecting at first. So the night before we made a few more posters because we heard the word was circulating, and we had a lot of people come out. It was really awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. If you were to guess how many people, including faculty, how many would you say showed up?
I'd say in total, maybe everyone wasn't there all at once, but I'd say we would have had maybe close to 80 to 100 people.
Wow, that is really awesome, especially in such a small area.
Yeah.
What a big impact on Bridgewater for sure.
That's good.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you believe the climate strike went as expected?
Yeah, I think so. We had some concerns at first when we were planning it. Is this going to be safe? Are people going to get rowdy during it? But it went really well, and everyone was very civil and very kind, and it was great. Yeah.
Okay, so you had a few worries, but not too many, and it seemed to go as planned.
Yeah, we were able to work with campus police and student life, and everyone was really cooperative, so it was really good. It was a success.
That's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, it seemed like it was run really smoothly, nothing really wrong or anything. Yeah. I think maybe campus police somebody got really passionate at one point in the road.
You are right. Yes. Yeah, and we had to rein them back in, but, other than that, it was good. So.
Other than that, go green,
Yeah.
So for the people who showed up and even people who may not have shown up, there was a lot of posts on Twitter and things like that. And do you think it got people thinking, members of the community, students, even faculty who may not be about the whole climate strike thing?
I definitely think so. I saw a lot of new faces out there. Definitely people who, weren't even in our clubs. The strike was actually put on by the Environmental Science Club and Eco Action Club together. And so we saw so many new faces, and I think that was really great. People who came out, because professors had asked them to write a summary about something that they learned or report something on that they saw during the event. And so that was really good, I think, to get different people thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I also heard it wasn't just the climate strike you guys put on. There was also an info session that happened afterwards?
Yeah, from 11:30 to 1:30 we had an info session in the KCC lobby for students to come and, learn about climate change, learn from people who are working with local organizations to combat climate change change in the area. We had Climate Action of the Valley, FIUS, which is a coral marine biology research center in the Florida Keys, come and speak to students. We had the Sunrise Movement, Eco Action had a booth, Robbie Miller was there, and so were professors Dr. Krebs, Dr. Overway, Dr. Boyard, J.Y. Deem, and we had some professors send out students. Those professors I mentioned, just to name a few, sent out students, but also Dr. Cole and Dr. Dewey also to encourage students.
That's amazing. So, with the info session, it seems great because those who may not have been able to go to the climate strike, and even students who may not be aware that it was happening on campus, were able to see this whole info session thing happening, so where they could learn much more.
Yeah, we had a lot of drop-ins from the KCC rush hour, so that was really good.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Planned very well.
Yeah.
And my last question, what was your favorite part about the entire day?
Probably the first part, the display on Dinkle. I thought that was really fun. It really got people amped up, and it was so nice to see, people from the community, students and professors, all kind of come together to, in a unique way to kind of, stand up for something we believe in as a whole.
Well, great. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Lauren. I appreciate you for coming out, and really awesome things you and the Eco Action Club are doing, all right?
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
And
Bye.
thank you all for listening.
All right. Thank you, Lexi, for that interview. And thank you, Lauren, for coming out. Up next, we have Jake and Chance discussing the recent and controversial ESPN Top 100 basketball players. So let's listen in for their take.
All right, so I'm Chance.
I'm Jake.
And we're here to talk about the controversial top players in the NBA countdown that ESPN released. We'll just start at 50 because that's where it gets really controversial, or as far as we've seen. So, you want to introduce the first person, Jake?
All right, so first person on the list that they put out,
number 50,
was Lauri Markkanen. I mean, I would say that's a relatively fair spot for him. He's young, up and coming.
Yeah, big potential.
However,
what is he, 7'1"?
Yeah, he can shoot it, stuff like that. However, the next one is where it really gets controversial.
This is where Twitter went crazy.
At number 49, they put Klay Thompson, who the previous year was ranked at 18, and he fell all the way to 49. And
now explain why ESPN may have put him at 49. What he's going through.
Last season, during the NBA Finals, Klay tore his ACL in Game 6.
It was a big game.
So some people were thinking that they were ranking him as if he had one leg. But most people just saw it as just disrespect to him going from 18 to 49 when some people consider him a top 10 NBA player.
One of the best shooters of all time, easily.
But then what caused more controversy is the following players after him.
Number 48, right below Klay Thompson would be Bojan Bogdanovic. When I saw this, I think when everybody saw this, they kind of laughed. He wasn't even ranked last year. I mean, yes, he's a good spot-up shooter, great for a 2K game, but
I don't think he's made All-Star games, or he's not even really considered the best player on his team.
No.
You have
Miles Turner,
Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, Miles Turner.
And then for him to just jump in front of Klay like that, Klay being one of the top 15 players in the league, from most people's viewpoint, to just have this guy just up in front of him. But then continuing at 47, you have another person who wasn't even ranked last year.
But I like this in John Collins. I like this because I like his number at 47. I don't like Klay's number at 49, but I like John Collins at 47.
There is a lot of potential with John Collins. He's a young player. Even though he wasn't ranked last year, he proved himself throughout this season as one of the
more dominant big men.
Yeah, and he's rising up in the league. They have a young team, and they're really getting better.
I think him and Trae Young are going to have a good season.
I do. I see a big future for them.
Now on to number 46, the classic DeMar DeRozan. I think this is a little high. I think he should be lower, closer to the top 20s maybe.
However, I do not think that he should be put above Klay Thompson.
No, none of these people I think that we're going to talk about today should be above Klay Thompson. But moving on from Klay Thompson, I think DeMar DeRozan, 46 is too high of a number.
He was 39 last year, fell to 46. Pretty much, I would say the best player on his team.
Yes, wherever he's gone, he's been the best player on his team. What I think of today's. I think if Michael Jordan played today, he'd be a DeMar DeRozan.
I disagree with that. Next up, we've got Aaron Gordon at 45. Last year, he was at 41. He fell 4 spots. This is another thing that I just feel is just disrespectful to Klay Thompson because Aaron Gordon hasn't really done anything in the league except for being known for dunks.
As I said before, I think every player we're about to name is going to disrespect Klay Thompson. But, again, I don't think Aaron Gordon is better than DeMar DeRozan as an overall player. I'd rather have DeMar on my team if I'm starting a team.
I would too. I mean, if I want flashy.
Great dunker.
Yeah, very good dunker.
One of the best dunk contests of all time. Now down to number 44. Miles Turner, as we mentioned earlier, he's on Bojan Bogdanovic team. He's better than Bojan, so he should be here. He's gone through some injuries. Last year he was number 48. But he's a good player. Good player. At 44, I like that spot. What do you think?
I think it's a good spot for him. He's young. He shows a lot of potential. He just got a big contract for 4 years, $70 million. I mean, he got all defensive team consideration.
Yeah.
So I think he's on the rise as a young and up and coming talent.
He led the league in blocks too.
Yeah. Next up, we've got
Kevin Love.
Man, Kevin Love.
I don't like this. I think he should be higher. I don't think he should be in the top 43. He's aging.
Hasn't been able to do it on his own after LeBron left.
Yeah.
He struggled with injuries.
Injuries, yes.
However, he just started a 4-year, $120 million contract extension.
That's a big contract for him.
It is a lot of money for him.
All right, and now everybody
42.
knows. Everybody knows this player.
This also caused probably a good amount of controversy. Him and Klay were probably the most controversial on this list. Zion Williamson.
The only rookie on this list. And I like it. I think Zion is a force. I don't think most people in the league cannot check him one-on-one.
My opinion on this is I feel he shouldn't be on this list at all because you can't put a player on a top 100 player list that hasn't played. What if he gets hurt the first game, doesn't play the whole season? Does he still the 42nd best player in the NBA? He's never played a game.
I think the list is top 100 players in the NBA. He is a player in the NBA.
But has he played in the NBA?
No, but he's a player in the NBA.
But has he shown that he's better than the players that are placed above him? Has he shown that he's better than Kevin Love? Has he shown that he's better than Klay Thompson?
In the NBA.
Has he shown that he's better than Miles Turner?
I guess there have been number 1 busts like Greg Odom, so I guess I'll agree to disagree with you. All right, now on to number 41.
Good old LaMarcus Aldridge. This one I disagree with a little bit. I don't even think he's the best player on his team.
Well, DeMar is.
I think DeMar is better than him, but
And
DeMar is ranked higher. I don't think that LaMarcus should be here. He's getting old. He's not really doing anything.
He's sneaky good though. He is.
Yeah.
He'll drop a good game on you out of nowhere, but I'd say overall for a whole season, I don't see why he's up there. Now towards the bottom of the 40s. The bottom of the 40s. Nikola Vucevic.
I like this for him. I think he should actually be a little bit lower on the list, in like the 30s. He just had his breakout season. Last year he wasn't ranked. He went from not being ranked to being an all-star last year. So I see a lot of potential coming him as one of the top centers out of the league.
And number 39, I would say Kyle Lowry. I don't like watching Kyle Lowry play.
I do not think he was.
He can't show up in the playoffs.
I do not think he was helpful or played a factor in their team winning the championship. The bench guys outplayed him every game. I think there's no reason that he should be anywhere above these guys at all.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all we have for you today. As I said, I'm Chance.
I'm Jake. Thanks for tuning in today.
All right, and again, thank you to Jake Vetter and Chance Morrison on discussing this controversial list. Up next, we have Lexi Brown back at it again with the second interview of tonight. where she'll be interviewing a freshman from our women's basketball team, Cara Helbert, about herself and the expectations on this upcoming season. So without...
Good evening again, BC Voice listeners. You're back here with Lexi, and I have another special guest, Cara Helbert, freshman of the women's basketball team here. How you doing tonight, Cara?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. So, Cara, what's your major for those who don't know you?
I'm a bio major.
And you're a freshman?
Freshman.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, what high school did you attend, Cara?
I went to Bassett High School in Martinsville, Virginia.
How far away is that from here?
About 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours? Okay, so not too far, not too close. So I want to ask, what got you into basketball?
Both my parents played since they were little, so then my mom went to play at Tennessee Temple University, and then my dad played all through high school, so it was just kind of natural, I guess.
Okay, and where, your mom's school, Temple, where's that at?
It's in Tennessee.
Okay, that's cool. So, did they, like, kind of coach you through everything, or did they teach you, all the skills you know?
Yeah, my dad was my coach for probably until middle school, through a lot of, church-based teams and travel teams, so.
Okay. And for those of you who can't visually see Cara, I want you to know she's super tall. Do you get that from your parents? Are they both?
Yeah, I'm the same height as my dad, so.
All right, and how tall is he?
6'2".
6'2"? Good lord. All right, 6'2" in here. So I'm guessing, what are you, a point guard then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really quick dribbler, really get in there?
Yeah, no, I'm a power forward, sometimes a center.
Okay. Did you do any travel ball, AAU?
My last couple years of high school, I did travel with Carlisle Elite. That was good.
Okay. Did you do that at the same time while you were playing high school ball, or was it kind of at a different time?
It was before season, actually. My high school team was interesting, so I went to play some AAU.
AAU?
That was better.
Good. Yeah, AAU probably is a different pace than high school.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is your favorite thing about basketball?
Personally, it's just like a stress reliever for me, and it just brings me peace, I guess. I don't know. It's something I can have fun with, and I'm always learning something new, so.
Okay. So did you play any other sports or just basketball?
From middle school all through high school, I played volleyball as well, and then I picked up tennis in high school.
Okay. Yeah, I was my second guess was volleyball, not because of the height, but definitely because of the height. All right. So, what made you choose to play here at Bridgewater? Because I know you were talking to me earlier. You had a few other schools looking at you. What made you come here at Bridgewater? Why were we so lucky to gain you?
It's a good atmosphere here. I felt at home. I've always been told you'll have a feeling when you go to a school, and I felt that here. It's a small community like where I'm from, so I felt really at home and safe, I guess.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a great atmosphere here. What is, let me ask, since your transition into high school and you are a freshman, it's probably a lot to balance with academics plus being a student athlete. What's the pace like comparing college ball to high school? How's that been?
It's a lot faster, pretty much sprinting up and down the court the whole time. Usually we do about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you get a sub. Coach likes to sub a lot because we're going that fast, and that's our goal, is to get the ball up the court faster than the other team, wear out their point guard, just be quicker. So that was a big change for me.
That's good though, but I'm assuming you're probably getting a lot more experience, a lot more challenging, but definitely is going to benefit you much better than high school.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And then what are you most nervous for in the upcoming season?
Just getting used to the tempo change. That's very different for me just because of the level of play that I was at high school. But my team makes me really comfortable, so it's not too worrisome.
That's good. And my very last question, Cara, is what is your absolute favorite thing about playing here at Bridgewater? What's your favorite thing about the Bridgewater basketball team?
I really like my teammates. We have a good bond, and I've known all of us know each other for a long time. So I think it's going to be a good and successful season. So.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Cara. I really appreciate you for coming out here tonight and talking with the listeners and them getting to know you. And good luck with the upcoming season. I wish y'all the best, and I'll be watching y'all, and so will the rest of the Bridgewater team out here, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you to the BC Voice listeners. We'll see you next time here at BC Voice.
All right, thank you to Lexi Brown and Cara Helbert for just going over that for us. And up next, we got Brandon Wells, Justin Rogers, and Jacob Haugh here to talk about the NFL to us on our weekly bi-weekly segment. They'll be talking about the season so far, as well as all the controversial topics, the injuries, and they'll even continue to predict how the season's going to go for the 32 teams. Let's take it over to them.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Brandon Wells.
I'm Jacob Haugh.
And I'm Justin Rogers.
And we're going to be covering a Week 3 recap, along with providing a couple of little insight about Week 4. So we want to just talk about recapping some of the games from a very eventful and kind of surprising Week 3. First thing I want to talk about is the Buffalo Bills are 3-0 after winning a tightly contested game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
And that one hurts. Okay. I get it. The Bengals fell off. They have a couple injuries, and they're looking atrocious. Bottom line for the Bills is Josh Allen, it's not that he's legit. It's that right now he's doing everything he needs to do to win, right? And I think Week 4 is going to be a big proving week for these Bills.
Well, Week 4 is going to be a prove-it week for a lot of teams. I think Josh Allen's being game manager. That's exactly what he needs to be right now for the Bills.
Another surprisingly undefeated team, the Detroit Lions. They came out here and beat a solid Eagles team. Are the Eagles good? Are they bad? Are the Lions good? Are they overrated?
The thing with the Lions is people forget how good Matthew Stafford is, and we ripped them in our last broadcast, right?
Yeah, we did.
You tie with Kyler Murray, and you think that Kyler Murray's not really about the life of being a superstar quarterback yet. The way you got to see the Lions is they play to their competition. That's the way I see it right now with Detroit. And none of their games have been super far apart. I mean, and they beat an Eagles team that, give them their credit, they've got a roster where a lot of those guys have a ring on their finger. Mm-hmm. And you can't take that away from anybody. So I wouldn't count Detroit in the playoffs, but I also wouldn't count them out.
Yep. I think the NFC North is easily the best division of football. I think any of those teams has a chance to win that division. It's a good division.
Oh, definitely.
The game of the week, Kansas City Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens 33-28 in an exciting game.
I would like to contrast that. I didn't think this one was exciting for me because it's the same old story. Mahomes goes up, then Lamar Jackson tries to come back, and Mahomes is the better quarterback, period. I think we saw that this weekend. A lot of these throws by Lamar Jackson were just not intercepted. And I think that's something people are not seeing. Yeah. Like the throw to Kellen Moore on the 1-yard line, or the throw across the field to Willie Snead. Yeah. My grandmother could get her walker out and intercept those, okay? Just because these players don't have the wherewithal or not used to a quarterback stepping off their back foot and throwing it 30 yards in the opposite direction, I mean, it's a way for the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who is not top-notch right now to me. Yeah. And Lamar, right now, if I had to give him a grade for the top 3 weeks of the NFL, I'd give him an 8.
I've never been a big Lamar Jackson fan, but he has been better than I thought he would be. Another bit surprising game, at least coming from a Falcons fan, is the Colts winning 27-24. Are the Colts, without luck, people are counting them out of the Super Bowl, and here they are standing at a pretty good 2-1 record.
I think that the Falcons are a second-half team when it comes to games. I mean, you've seen that all season. We saw that in the Eagles game. They came back in the second half and won that game. Looked like they almost came back in the second half against this Colts team, which
I mean, I said they are still good. I think they're going to win this division. I think their defense is not one of the better defenses, but they're up there. I think they have young talent on that defense. That offensive line is amazing. They got Marlon Mack in the backfield, got some receivers to throw to. I think Jacoby Brissett, he has all the tools around him, and I think he's doing a pretty good job with them.
And you have the best lineman in the league. I mean, Quentin Nelson is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to the Broncos and Packers game, not a lot to take from there. Joe Flacco is just not worth my time, period. No. Same with the Cowboys and the Dolphins. If I hear one more Cowboys fan saying that they're going to the playoffs, I cannot wait for them to play a solid team.
Dolphins are 0-16 this year, no question about it. We got to kind of move on here. Yeah. Got time restraints, but we got 2 more games I want to talk about. The 49ers-Steelers game. 49ers 3-0, Steelers 0-3. People might have thought that might have been flopped at the beginning of the season. Now here we are. So, Justin, Steelers fan, take it away.
All right. So I think the Steelers, all 3 games that they've played, they've lost. The team that they played didn't win, unless I would say the Patriots definitely won that game against us. We definitely, with turnovers, we lost a game last week, and we against the Seahawks, we definitely lost a game this week. How do you have 5 turnovers in a game and not win?
Yep.
I just do not understand that. Also, I do not like the play calling on offense at all. We have 2 deep passes that go for touchdowns, and then you don't call deep passes the rest of the game. You run twice on first and second down with James Conner, and you expect the defense to kind of lighten up a little bit on third down when you pass the ball because you think the defense isn't going to call anything that will prohibit you from getting a first down. I just think that they need to show that Mason Rudolph is a deep thrower. He's a good deep ball thrower. I think they need to show that.
One thing I just wanted to put in there is, guys, 8-1, and that stat is related to Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Tom Brady. All 3 of those guys were in the same quarterback room at one point.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. That is ridiculous.
I think that's a testament to the Patriots, though.
Yep.
Just the way that they bring up quarterbacks.
Yep.
Makes me think of what Jared Stidham's going to be in a couple years.
So we have 3 more really good games this week. We had the Saints versus Seahawks, which people thought that Teddy Bridgewater wasn't going to be able to lead the team back, but they also got a kick return touchdown and a defensive touchdown. That's what won them that game. The Seahawks did score 27 points. They won because of that.
I do not care who you are. Teddy Bridge H2O won that football game.
All right, well, I disagree.
I think the defense had a lot to do with that game. That defense stepped up.
Correct.
But Teddy Bridgewater did a good job managing that game.
That's the problem with Bridgewater. When he was with the Vikings, the defense carried him, and he didn't score points on offense. And he scored points with the Saints. Whether or not it's 30, it's an improvement for Teddy Bridgewater.
And here's kind of a segue into our next thing. The Texans beat the Chargers 27-20. The Chargers, a lot of people are saying that they're Super Bowl contenders this year. Now they come out, they're 1-2 on the season. They're Melvin Gordon just reported he is coming back to the team tomorrow. What do you guys think? Do you think he's going to sign? Do you think he's going to keep his holdout?
I think he is going to sign. I don't think
it's
the
worth
Chargers
it. I don't think it's worth it.
It's not worth it. Your 2 running backs you have right now are playing well. Austin Eckler is looking like a starting running back. Why are you going to pay all that money to Melvin Gordon when you have a quality back in Austin Eckler on your team? It makes no sense to me. I don't think running backs should be paid high in the NFL at all.
One of these other teams has got to get Melvin Gordon. I think one team you got to look at is the Dolphins. If you can get a solid running back, you can build a piece. Now think about this. I'm not talking about for this year. Right. I'm talking that you have all of these picks. Every single time you've had those picks, they've always had a star to build around. Jarvis Landry.
Okay, I do like this.
I do like this. I think when rebuilding a team, you don't start with a running back.
Correct.
That's true. But also, if you're the Dolphins, you really don't have a selling point to any players right now, especially even rookies.
Yeah.
If you're a rookie and you get drafted to Miami, you don't want to go there and you're going to want to get traded. They need star players, and trading is probably the best way they're going to get them.
And like you said, week 4 is a proving week. Let's look at it. Let's pick the games for week 4. I have them up on my phone. Let's start out with the early games on the slate, I believe. And that's going to be Redskins-Giants. I'm going to take Daniel Jones.
I'm taking the Giants, but not because of Daniel Jones, because it's the Redskins they're playing.
Yeah, I'm definitely...
Give me the Chargers versus the Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins versus no.
Yeah, take Chargers.
Raiders versus Colts. I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts.
Colts.
Panthers-Texans.
Texans.
Give me the Panthers with Kyle Allen.
Nope.
I'm going to say Texans. Texans looked impressive.
Texans
against
have
the
a
Chargers.
much better all-around team, even with Kyle Allen showing that Cam Newton doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Finally, been saying it for years if you've been listening Beyond the Blitz.
Yeah.
But
Chiefs versus Lions. Give me the Chiefs in a close one.
give me the Chiefs. This is a make it or break it for the Lions. If they can come out here and at least keep it within a one touchdown game, the Lions could be for real. So we're going to see how well the Lions do against the Chiefs. But again, Darius Slay can't cover everyone, so we'll see.
Yep.
That defense definitely has to step up this week.
Patriots, Bills. Give me the Patriots. I'm not dumb.
Give me the Patriots exposing that the Bills should not be 3-0.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Browns versus Ravens.
Ravens.
I'm going to go ahead and say give me the Ravens.
Give me the Browns. They almost just beat the Rams. If Baker Mayfield made a different decision in the last play of last game, the Browns just beat the best team in the NFC. I think that they can come out. It's a division game. I think that they have a chance to come out and surprise a team that just got just pretty much. I mean, it was a closer score, but they
obliterated on defense.
Exactly. I think that they're going to finally click.
I think the Browns, they're getting up there. I mean, you have a pretty close loss to a good team. I think, like Brandon was saying, it's almost a win. So I'm going to give it to the Browns here. Ravens, I think they might be starting a slump here.
Give me Titans versus the Falcons. Who are you taking?
Falcons.
Give me the Falcons.
Yay.
Buccaneers versus the Rams. Give me the Rams.
Give me the Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
Seahawks.
I will say the Bucs might make it a close game. I will say they might make it.
No chance.
Jameis Winston throws 5 picks.
I don't think so.
Seahawks cards. I'm going to take, I was about to say the Birds, but give me the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Give me the Hawks.
I'm not even going to call them the Jaguars. Give me Gardner Minshew against the Broncos.
A Jalen Ramsey-less Jaguars.
I'm not worried about it.
Team.
Not worried about it.
I want to see Gardner Minshew come out and throw 500 yards. Let's do it.
Mustache mania.
Let's go.
Vikings, Bears. Give me the Vikings.
Give me the Bears.
It's going to be a close game. I think the Bears' offense looked good, but it was against the Redskins. So I'm going to take
I'm sorry. If I was given the ball every single time within 20 yards of the red zone, I could throw touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay? He did not do anything to prove to me that he's better than the crap he's been all season. Mitchell Trubisky is undercover one of the worst quarterbacks in the National Football
I'm not
League.
going to disagree with you, but also the Bears they still have playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. They finally have confidence to go forward. I think that they are finally going to start clicking on both sides of the ball. Of course, yes, Mitchell Trubisky will make mistakes as the season goes on, but that doesn't help that they have the best defense in the NFL. That's not even questionable.
I think that this is going to be a prove-it game for Kirk Cousins because I think
he's proven it.
This Bears defense, they're going to shut down Dalvin Cook. I think they are. This is a good Bears defense. I think this is going to come down to can Kirk Cousins make the throws, and I think he can. The Vikings will get the win.
Cowboys, Saints.
Cowboys.
Give me the Saints here. I like Teddy. I like Teddy in this game. Again, this is a prove-it game for the Cowboys, and for both teams, really. This is a prove-it game.
I think the Cowboys have a very well-rounded team, and honestly, for being 3-0, I think the Cowboys are underrated. I think they're good.
Give me the Saints. It's my gut telling me. Give me the Saints. And then a battle of the boys in here.
Mm-hmm.
I say in Pittsburgh, Andy Dalton throws for 350 yards and loses versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right.
I can see it because our
defense... Hot take.
I can see Andy Dalton breaking our hearts again. And it's not just Andy. I mean, this is atrocious. I mean, our offensive line looks like 3 guys taken from Ferrum. It's terrible. It's not good. And the Bengals have to figure it out. And they're saying to just keep looking up and keep moving forward. But this Bengals team is going to lose against the Steelers.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Finally, do you think that the bye week will beat the Jets?
I don't know, but Le'Veon Bell will most likely tweet about it.
All right, everyone, thank you very much for listening in. This is the last segment on tonight's broadcast. We want to thank all of the listeners who joined in for today. We will be back 2 weeks from now, Wednesday, same time at 7 o'clock, so please be sure to tune in. And if you haven't yet, please go on bcvoice.org, check out our material, check out the Beyond the Blitz podcast. We're all on that. We're going to be recording another one next week. Jacob will be joining Justin and I.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun, so if you like NFL, come out and visit us, and just visit our website. So that's all we have for tonight. We're going to send you back over to Drake.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Justin.
Have a good one, y'all.
All right, and thank you, Jacob Haugh, Justin Rogers, and Brandon Wells for that recap on Week 3 and a look into Week 4. That's going to wrap up our broadcast here tonight. go ahead and mark your calendars. October 9th, we'll be back here. That's 2 weeks from today, 7 o'clock, streaming the same time. And be sure, as you wrap up this week and go into next week, just make some connections and just really enjoy your life. And as always, y'all have a beautiful night and take care.